Hey, this is Paul from Hot and Humid Hydroponics. It is June 26th, and all I'm doing is coming out here to doing a quick update on my hydroponic system, seeing what's growing, what's holding on, and what's dead. So, without further ado, just kind of looking over a couple things right now, and it looks like my beans are exploding again. So, new set of beans. A couple different varieties going on in here. I gotta go and get some kind of trellis on them this week, or I'm gonna be in big trouble. And I can already see them. They're starting to grow together and do their crazy thing. I got a couple different varieties in here. I have some of my red noodles are coming back, and I've got some dragon's tongue in here. So it'll be kind of a little bit of a mix. Also going over here, I've got some Joy Choy, which is like bok choy or pak choy. It's just that it's a smaller variety and is also heat tolerant. Notice I'm not bolting, nothing's going to bolt. I mean, everything just looks really, really good. I will be spraying some, it just got done raining, so I'll probably be spraying some BT on them, etc. Seeing how that works out. You got to keep up with all the different types of things going on with these bugs. It's just, they're nasty out there this time of year. So I've got some fresh basil coming back. Hopefully that'll hold up. For those who don't know, basil's really hard to grow now anymore. A couple years back, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, a fungus started becoming apparent with basil. And once it's on there, the basil's ruined. And you almost got to sterilize your soil, or wait, if you're in traditional soil, you've got to more or less wait a couple crop rotations to even play with that. That's why it's really important to know where your basil seed is coming from, because actually the type of fungus, and I wish I knew off the top of my head, is actually prevalent in the seed too. So you got to be careful. Over here is some of my fennel, of which is really taking a beating, and it's probably time to pull it. So yeah, the fennel's done. It's just too hot. Just too hot. I got some fennel over here. It's kind of growing. I'll probably yank some of that in a minute. Kale is exploding. This is like, I knew when I planted it, it was a good idea only to plant 2 towers. I mean, a half a tower. Why? Because at the end of the day, this stuff is just crazy. Now, I've got some problems going on in here that are being resolved with some organic measures, such as like some spider mites, but overall very, very good. Swiss chard still holding up, although I don't think it's going to hang on much longer. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting it back slowly but surely, and just harvesting as it comes in smaller leaf batches, but leaving some on there. That way it doesn't wilt and go nasty. Beyond that, I got a little bit of basil going on down there, as we talked about. This is some lettuce. Now, this is supposed to be a heat-tolerant lettuce called Starfighter. We'll see if it doesn't go to bolt. If it doesn't go to bolt in 30 days, I'll be highly impressed. But I figured, hey, if it's 70 degrees, still 70, 75 degree nights, it'll still germinate, which it did. And I just popped the seeds right in there. No start or anything. On top of that is this viney-looking stuff. And this is cucamelon, also known as mouse melon. Little tiny little watermelon type shape things. They look like identical to mini watermelons, but they're cucumbers. Anyways, I figured they'd be cute. Baby little watermelons. My son will think they're adorable. Tomatoes are holding up. Had a little bout with some blight. Still dealing with it a little bit, but putting a dent on it. Although I'm starting to see some spotted wilt, and that is my biggest concern. I don't know if that's insect damage or not. I have had a ton of what is called leaf-footed bugs on these leaves, and that looks like it might be some bug damage. I'll have a couple buddies of mine do some research on that, but that does not look terribly promising. Let's get a better look at that. The Tycoon tomato, it's hanging in there. it also has some bites on it, and everything's going on, but that's the last tomato on that. This is probably going to get pulled, although everything seemingly is going pretty well. You know, I like to grow fresh from one season to the next. This is a semi-determinate variety, so it's pretty much expelled everything it's going to do. The watermelons, they're done. I've got one more down there. I yanked off 3. We're done here, except for this one, which has grown around my tree here, is actually doing very well. So I'll leave that in place for obvious reasons, because it's still doing well. And because I didn't even look, we still got a baby watermelon in it. So that's pretty exciting. Let's see if we can relocate this guy. Whoops. Sorry about the camera flip. Yeah, pretty cool. Cucumbers, they're pretty destroyed. But that's only one variety that you're seeing it out there. On the flip side, there is a ton of awesome fruit still growing with the other variety in here. So I got 2 different varieties intermingled, and one's barely hanging on, the other one's doing extremely well. Bell peppers. Excellent, excellent, excellent. No concerns there. They need to be trellised. That's pretty much it. The Sunshine Sweets, also doing fantastic. They need to be picked. Red beans are coming back in. Got some red long beans. I'll probably pick those after this video. They're coming back in stock, along with the rest of them. So I got some different varieties of beans. You know, this time of year, it's really hot, and you know, hydroponic growing, you still deal with the same variety of issues that are prevalent in other things. But the good news is that my nutrients and my water is consistently flowing. I've got the ability to block out some shade. I'm using that Surround WP, which is really helping with my pest management. And above and beyond that, everything's great. However, here's the exception, and I'd like to get some feedback from anybody. I have been spraying pretty regularly, and I'm getting some really crinkled leaves here. And I've also put on some calcium spray. So I don't know if I'm still just low on calcium, and I just need to work with that, or what's going on. So I'd like to get some feedback. Even my new growth is a little crinkly, and that's usually a sign of like calcium stress, meaning that there's not enough. But a lot of stuff fruiting in here, so it wouldn't be surprising. But I'd like to get some feedback if there's anything else out there. Anyways, this is Paul from Hot and Humid Hydroponics. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night.